It's all over the place. I mean, there's this... Our shop sells stuff related to it, and people are singing it, and there's a random meet-up in the middle of town the other day of people singing it and cosplaying and everything. It's like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, that happens with the best of things, so, like, I mean, it doesn't... That's not necessarily indicative of its quality. I mean, but, like, I remember when Daft Punk music was being used in DFS advert, and, of course, you know, if you're watching ITV... God help you if you still watch ITV nowadays, but still. I remember it was just constantly people moving sofas with like Daft Punk or whatever in the background, and I was like, I really like Daft Punk, but this is driving me freaking crazy. I don't want to see these guys selling sofas. They're going to be cool robot guys. Why is their music being made to sell sofas? There's nothing robotic about it.
Work all night to get discounts.
Oh, that was too cruel. Ow.
Although, what really puzzles me is, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't had this reaction. I mean, again, it is very overplayed, but I haven't had this reaction with Happy.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day. I mean,
Yeah.
I think some things just are so everywhere at once. Every way you look, it's somewhere.
Just kind of has something amazing about them, though, I think.
Mm.
But that reminds me of something else, which I'll have to talk about in a bit, but still.
Yeah, I think for me personally, the reason I haven't had that reaction is because Let It Go is a very circumstantial song. You know, it's not efficiently divorceable, if that's even a term, from the actual film. Whereas Happy, you can just generally apply it to any sort of upbeat, cheerful situation, and it'll work.
It's kind of hard to sort of not think of the Frozen song, the Frozen song, I say, rather than Let It Go. It's because, let's face it, Frozen is just like an extended music video for it. It feels like to me.
It has kind of become like that.
But it's hard to not hear the song in your head without picturing, you know, the exact choreography of that scene.
Yeah.
I see it. I can imagine Elsa crossing the mountains and making that bridge out of ice and conjuring that giant castle and whisking away her old fuddy-duddy queen outfit in exchange for a magical sparkly ice dress, which must be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But still, but that's what I mean is you can kind of, even if you've only seen it like once, it's so memorably done that it's hard to imagine it without the exact moments kind of synchronize.
Mm.
So it's a musical. That kind of makes sense.
I've seen musicals on stage before, but I don't necessarily remember the exact choreography like that. That's not weird.
Well, you saying...
I'm gonna slap your shit.
You saying about it...
I wouldn't do that.
Sorry, what was that it?
You saying about it being a musical, of course you are. The thing is, it's not like... Imagine if Time Warp had become a massive hit in the pop charts. Listeners, I know a cover version did, but I'm talking the actual Rocky Horror version. Thought I'd get that out of the way before anyone decided to be pedantic. But it's like if Time Warp had become a big pop hit.
I guess it is. I mean, I can imagine a lot of that pretty clearly, even though I'm pretty sure I've only seen the film once.
I think I've seen the film about 5 or 6 times.
That's fair enough. But I mean, like, yeah, you're right. It is quite similar to Frozen. But I think the problem is Time Warp isn't the same kind of earworm. I mean, the problem is when you hear Let It Go, the composition of that scene was so strong that it literally just sort of takes over. Like it's like your eyes cease to function and you start just seeing the scene from Frozen instead.
It's like an eye worm.
Well,
no, it's an eyeborg.
It's kind of like that bit in The Strain where the worm dives into her eye.
Oh, it'll always creep me out. That's why they're using that for fucking cover of the DVD as well.
Yeah, I know. But what I mean is, it's like, you know how when you're just imagining something and suddenly, it's like you stop seeing what's in front of you and your imagination's idea of what's taking place sort of takes over. That actually happens to me when I'm sort of hearing that song. It's like I just start to see the picture. But the problem is, when it's an earworm as well, and it's being played everywhere, it means like, no, I've seen this bit of the movie before, stop it, fast forward to another bit of the film, and stop playing it.
If you kept playing it everywhere, then you'd essentially be blind, because you just can't see anything but that.
It's kind of like what it would be like if someone were to suddenly jump into your house with a remote control and start changing the channels, whatever was playing Frozen. No, stop it, get out of my house!
just wondering what it'd be like, just having something like that go on whilst having synesthesia.
Oh God!
That'd be horrifying.
You'd be seeing it in negative.
To be honest, imagine if someone had a remote control and you were wearing Google Glass and someone decided to put it on there. Well, I guess I'm just on my way to work. I better drive carefully on one of these icy roads. I see you say. Let it go. Oh no, I can't see. Elsie's making the bridge. Crash. 12 car fire. Everybody dead.
Oh, it's a nice bridge.
All big as a
It's a ravine.
Well, you just drive past, see Elsa make the bridge, and look up as you see the bridge from beneath as you fall into the ravine below. Let it go! I guess I'm gonna die. Let it go!
And of course, we do have the massive irony that relates to Frozen and Let It Go and everything like that.
Yeah?
Well, I pointed it out to you guys the other day, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
What was this again? May as well say it anyway.
Remember about the company that Disney has acquired? Or acquired a couple of years back?
Not long ago.
Oh yeah, I was talking about, was it Marvel? I think you were saying, or Lucasfilm.
Lucasfilm.
Oh yes, Lucasfilm, yeah.
And...
Oh yeah, because you were showing them that bit from Star Wars.
No, Indiana Jones, dear.
Oh, Indiana Jones, that's the problem. Yeah, you see,
I actually was built in 12.
I've got brain problems.
Guess I got brain problems. It's so permanently seeing Elsa around everywhere.
Yeah, Frozen gave me brain damage.
That kind of makes sense in a weird way.
That is just not that good of a film in the first place.
Yeah.
That is up for debate. As someone who studies writing, but admittedly works in a news agent, I think it's a good premise, but the writing is pretty feeble. Then again, this is a movie podcast, so...
Yeah, that can be a rant for another day.
That is something for something else, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're all pretty sick of Frozen, but none of us are necessarily saying it's a bad film or Let It Go is a bad song. We just would like...
We might be, but we're not going to let that on right now.
We just like a bit more variety.
I said, it's not really a bad film, it's just not that great either.
Yeah.
Brave is better.
Wreck-It Ralph is better.
Wreck-It Ralph is better, yeah.
But anyway, moving swiftly on.
Sure, Wreck-It Ralph had a better soundtrack too.
Yeah, what's next on the docket end?
Biggest disappointments of this year.
Biggest disappointments.
The two new Calafina singles really aren't very good.
Is it because they're exactly the same as each other?
Yes. That's part of the problem.
Not to mention one of them was on a shit show as well.
That doesn't help. But, yeah, it's like a band that I like because they're varied and they do something incredibly generic. And both the songs sound exactly the same. It's like, what are you doing?
I think for me, biggest disappointments between AC/DC's new album,
right?
Which I'll put it as simply as this: if you were to tell me that it was from the 80s, I'd believe you.
Right? Okay.
It is that similar to so many of their previous albums. I would believe all the songs from that album were off of previous albums.
Kind of homogenous then.
Yeah.
Basically, once again, things sounding too similar to other things is a problem there.
Yeah.
There's only one way to go, and that's forward. As lovely as the past was, it's not really helpful when trying to make something interesting new.
Yeah.
I say, stating the obvious.
And the other disappointment, Charlie XCX's new album. That's on Fancy. She's the one that's going, I'm so fancy.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fair enough.
I was expecting something a lot more interesting from her, but it became MOR generipop, basically. It's got a few interesting sounds, but overall there's nothing really to write home about, which, as I say, it's a bit of a disappointment because I was really hoping for an artist that would absolutely blow the roof off of things, because she has a wealth of personality, and you know when certain artists really have a life to their persona and all that sort of thing?
Yeah.
That, you know, she comes across as a real person. Not in the, oh, they're so real, just she actually comes across as a human being. And so...
I like that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's just a bit of a disappointment that it was a bit of a damp squib.
It's sometimes you get that. It's one problem with a lot of albums I've come across over the years is that they release a song and you think, oh, this actually sounds really, really good. Then you realise that every other song on the album just isn't very good, or sounds exactly the same. It's like, well, this is disappointing.
Anything that stands out to you, Richard?
I don't know if I've really got anything disappointing. Although there was, I suppose you could call it the biggest cringe of the year, and that would have been when Hatsune Miku went on David Letterman.
What?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, well, I don't know, for those of you who don't know Vocaloid, I've mentioned it multiple times, but it's a program which it's a computer-generated singer, I guess. They get a bunch of voice actors to do, just mouth every syllable in Japanese, and now recently in English, and that way they can make songs that sound vaguely like real people. I mean, they're getting better and better and better, but there's still a long way to go. In any case, a lot of the characters, they have they've got faces that go with them, and they're all very cutesy anime characters, you know, with brightly colored hair and so on. Generally, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I know exactly what people are likely to think when they hear a robot singing and a cutesy anime girl projected onto a screen. I mean, I thought it was pretty funny that Lady Gaga was like, I want Hatsune Miku to open for me at my concerts this year, and they did, which kind of blew my mind, because is this real life? Is this actually happening? But then I heard that Hatsune Miku was going to be on David Letterman. It was... I didn't make it more than like a minute into the video, because it's just... There's kind of the point when your stupid, nerdy subculture kind of gets brought out into the open, and you see some aged talk show host go, "This is Hatsune Miku, a virtual pop diva from Japan," and you kind of just crumble in a heap. Even though you're alone in your own room, you can't help but just curl into a ball and make it want to stop. To make it stop, rather.
Oh god.
Please, no! And so, yeah, I can't remember what song it was even shown then, but, well, I think it was Tell Your World or something, yeah, which is pretty good. I like that song. But at the same time, you know, I think it was from a time when the software was a lot less polished, and it's very robotic. That's wow.
Oi, mate.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it made sense for it to be featured on stuff like that and become a bigger thing, because, well, as I said, Lady Gaga had it open for her as the opening act, and Pharrell Williams has done stuff with it. He actually did a remix of a Vocaloid song. I don't know if anyone's noticed it, but he did it for a movie, some foreign movie, and Pharrell Williams did this remix of a Vocaloid song.
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's happening more often, actually, having just Western remixing stuff from Japanese artists. I mean, you know Zed, an electronic music guy. I don't know how to phrase this kind of stuff well, but he did Clarity featuring Foxes. Oh yeah, that's I remember hearing that.
Yeah, you know that song. Yeah. But he did a song with Hatsune Miku a while ago. I think it was like a song he'd already done, but he decided, you know what? Forget these feeble, fleshy human vocals. I'm going to switch over to our robot overlords, and redid the song with this Hatsune Miku voiceover. And there was only the Japanese release, but you know, it is becoming a thing. It's definitely being kind of done a bit off to the side, but it's becoming a thing. But at the same time, that doesn't stop me from finding Miku on Letterman the most embarrassing thing somehow.
Yeah, there are certain things that just should not happen. I mean, it smacks of desperation, I think.
It's something. I think the problem is, it's quite clear that the audience of David Letterman aren't gonna get it, as it were. You know, it's quite clearly. David Letterman show does not seem like the right place to try and promote your software band, or whatever you want to call it, really. But speaking of Pharrell Williams, he's been pretty open with this kind of stuff, because I don't know, have you seen the music video for his song It Girl?
Can't say I have.
It's a lot of it's kind of like the old video game sprites, and it's all done kind of like a video game, kind of like a dating sim, like a visual novel actually. And it basically it's kind of like Scott Pilgrim-y kind of sprites, but it's like a harem visual novel thing where I'm meant to pick the girl and give her presents and make the right choice and get to the happy end or whatever. Although the funny thing is, like, the whole song seems to be featuring Pharrell Williams choosing the lolly character, and the entire thing had me in stitches because I was like, are you serious, Pharrell Williams? Are you aware of what's being made with your music videos? Look it up later, Ed. It's hysterical.
I'll have to do that because that just sounds weird.
It is super weird and it's pretty damn funny. Unfortunately, I mean, like, you probably missed it simply because it just isn't up there with Happy. It just isn't as good. I like it, but it ain't Happy.
It's actually really depressing.
Well, it's more hysterical. I can't even communicate how much I laughed while I was watching like I was listening to Pharrell Williams singing "It's Girl" or whatever it was, and as there was Lolly and Utaka, you look good at that, Utaka. Oh boy, the summer festival! I'm so glad you were taking me. It's really fucking weird.
Just as well he never heard of Heartful Boyfriend, otherwise that would have been... Oh, God.
It does seem like a lot of Western artists are working with Japanese people these days. I mean, the Perfume's newest album was released in Europe and had a couple of remixes from... I can't remember who that was. Dimitri and Like Mike, I think it was voted the second best DJ in America. They did a remix of one of Perfume's songs. Also, Noisier did a remix of Lost Child by Maria Clover as well.
Well, then again, I mean, there have been a bunch of people interacting with Maria Clover already. I seem to recall one of the guitarist from Megadeth, I think it was. I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was the guitarist from Megadeth.
Also, the recent thing is the Maria Clover are collaborating with Kiss.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that's worth mentioning.
What?
Maria Clover, for those of you who haven't listened to them before, they're an idol group, but unlike a lot of these rather creepy idol subsets of Japanese music culture, they're pretty much deliberate. They kind of like to make fun of the whole thing. Rather than being cutesy, they have all sorts of really weird stuff in their music videos. Like the one where they had Megadeth, the guy from Megadeth working with them. I say this, sorry, I haven't listened much Megadeth, so I can't really comment on who it is. I'm not good at names anyway. But on that,
if you told me the name, I'd be able to say.
Yeah, but
Monty Friedman.
Okay, that helps. Yeah, but apparently, like, well, in this music video, they were riding around as space pirates on tricycles in space, and it was incredible. There were lasers, spaceships were had. It was kind of amazing, but that's just generally one of their tamer music videos, really. And yeah, so it goes to show, it goes both ways. And now they're working with Kiss. So, and apparently it was Kiss who approached them, not the other way around.
Huh. Just so as you know, it's not that surprising that the guitarist was able to work with them, seeing as he's been living in Japan since 2003.
He's also a big fan of Marimite, which is, a lovely yearly light novel and anime series. So he likes tender, sweet stories about schoolgirls falling in love. Just thought I'd throw that out there. But I just thought, but yeah. I completely that completely threw me off saying that myself. But yeah, so that was
being released at the end of January as well. So.
Yeah, it makes sense that Kiss would know about them as well, given that Gene Simmons has already been in a Japanese movie, Detroit Metal City, whereupon he summoned a metal buffalo and fired a flamethrower out of his guitar, and it was amazing.
Oh, that fucking movie!
Amazing movie.
Oh, I love it. It's just one of those high on the batshit insane counter.
Yeah, but yeah, so I guess this sort of crossover was happening a lot. I completely hijacked this with the Weeaboo Power Hour. Feels like I've dragged this out quite long enough as it needs to be. So maybe we should just move on and talk something else.
Yeah. Well, biggest surprises of this year.
Once again, because we just want to play help.
That hasn't technically happened yet. It's being released next year.
Help! Yeah.
Well, that's still a surprise in and of itself that it's going to happen.
That's true. I mean, most of the things I've listened to this year have been artists I've already known about beforehand.
Well, when I say surprises, I just mean generally speaking and sort of like quality and all that sort of thing.
It's not about quality, probably the newest Shoko Nakagawa album. Because I was thinking, this should be pretty good, and then just suddenly out of nowhere, just, hard rock songs and metal songs about girls running around in pink bunny outfits and stuff. Well, the Shoko Nakagawa was kind of crazy, but I was not expecting that level of hard rock. It's pretty damn fun.
I was pretty impressed by Against Me's newest album. I mean, I've heard a few. I've recently started listening to them, and then suddenly the lead singer came out as transgender, and then decided, on a whim, I guess, to make an entire album about it, which was actually really amazing. I thought, anyway. It's really quite powerful stuff. I mean, I think a lot of the fans were going, "Oh no, you've been singing the same song about this for the last however many months." Then this whole album came out, and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, this is actually really good." But it was just kind of, I don't know. I say it's surprising simply because the whole thing felt kind of surreal to me. But yeah, that was. If you guys haven't heard that, that's pretty good.
Look into that.
Yeah, you should.
What was the band called?
Against Me.
That name sounds from one sec.
There's a good chance that you've probably heard of them before. Yeah, they're pretty well known, from what I gather.
Just
That's
give me a
completely
sec.
familiar name, so yeah, it's quite possible.
But I guess I could say it's surprising simply because it was a really gutsy move on the part of the singer to actually just do that and just be so open with it as to then go on to make an entire freaking album about it. Especially considering everyone was worried about, oh my goodness, what about your voice? Your voice is so important to this. And then she was like, whatever, man, I'm just going to carry on staying the same I was. That's not going to change anything.
Well, that works, I guess.
Yeah.
Gotta have guts to do that. But, yeah.
Okay.
Good for her, I'd say.
The name rings a bell, but not too familiar with their music.
So it's one of the names I've seen around a few times, I think. But I haven't really looked into it because I had no reason to. But yeah, it could go well.
Give them a look.
Biggest surprise for me, just going over the various. Well, it's between the newest Lacuna Coils album, because. Well, I know people are generally quite Marmite with Lacuna Coil, but recently they seem to have been running on half gas.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The first 3 albums though were pretty good, and then after that it just became incredibly generic.
Yeah, so when I heard their most recent album, it felt much more like a return to form. In fact, there kind of feels like a few shades of Comalies in there, or Comalies, or however the fuck that album is pronounced.
It's Italian.
Yeah, Comalies.
Caramelized.
For all we know.
Comatose.
But anyway, it kind of feels like it's got shades of that in it.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did show you the song I Will Forgive, But I Won't Forget Your Name.
You did, yeah, actually, yes. Yeah, that does sound like a bit of a return to form to their earlier stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Unleashed Melodies is probably my favourite album by them. But Melodies is just the first one I got into them from, so...
Same. One of my friends lent me the album, and that's how I got into them.
I got mine lying around somewhere.
Yeah. But it was also thanks to Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because Swamped was part of the soundtrack for that.
Yeah, I never particularly care for that song. I think it's personally one of my least favourite on the album. I remember hearing Heaven's a Lie on, I think it was back on Kerrang maybe, even when that was actually playing music.
Oh god, how long ago is that?
Decade.
Yeah, it must have been, because that's when we stopped getting Kerrang.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you consider Swamped was the first thing of Lacuna Coils I had ever heard, as a sort of starting off point, that's quite a good thing to go with.
Maybe they'll be, back on form again. It's actually looking into their future, as if they do stay in that kind of same way.
Yeah.
But I think it's after Coma released that they started going downhill anyway. So there's been I don't know how many albums it's been in there since after they released the album. After that, I got a bit bored of it, but hadn't really kept up with it because everything sounded very similar. Go ahead.
What's next then?
Just trying to think. I suppose favourite song of the year.
Right. Okay.
This is a complex decision.
I mean, I would say favourite album of the year, but I've got about 3, so...
Yeah, so I've got a lot of
I rarely
albums.
listen to new stuff. I wind up generally I tend to be late to discovering everything, so generally my favourite album of the year usually tends to be from last year or a few years ago.
Ah.
Yeah, so I won't have anything particularly new to offer, but
Well,
I guess you could say the new Carrie album. The new Carrie album is at least something that I can stay up to date with.
mm-hmm. Well,
I'm thinking here, personally, favourite album of the year is probably between Perturbator's new album, Dangerous Days, or probably the Drinking God 3 soundtrack, actually.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty great. Was that this year? Oh, yeah, of course it was.
Yeah, it came out in January.
Well, over here, at least.
Yeah.
Well, the game itself came out in December, but at least in Japan, the soundtrack was released in January. So.
Fair enough.
For me, as I say, is between 3 or 4. Redeemer of Souls, Judas Priest's new album.
I had to get around to hearing it, actually, for good things about it.
It is, well, I'll put it as simply as this. Listen to all bar the last track on the second disc, and you'll have a perfect album.
Doesn't I just go completely against the flow of the album?
Yeah.
Mentioning that to me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is why I'm torn, because disc 1 and most of disc 2, bar that last song, perfect album. The last song, still a good song. Don't get me wrong, it is a great song.
It just doesn't go with the rest.
Yeah, because it goes from... I'm not sure this will really mean much to you, but Pierce, do you remember how Painkiller sounds, the overall sound of that album?
Yes, I do.
Think along those lines, and then finish it with a power ballad.
Oh, okay, I can see why that kind of would not work out too well. It feels like it could work, but not necessarily at the end of the show.
Yeah. In fact, if it was an opening track, it would have flowed perfectly.
This sometimes happen. You have songs like at the end that don't necessarily seem to work out too well. That's what kind of reminds me once again of Shoko no Hagawa's new album. But everything, you kind of has a certain flow to it, and the last one's just a random Christmas song.
I'm surprised she can sing when she has all those cats in her mouth.
There's the collars in her head and all manner of other weird crap.
Predominantly the cats in the mouth, though. They'll usually get in the way of your singing.
Anyway, yeah, it's between Redeemer of Souls. I just need to check.
Devin Townsend by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah. Redeemer of Souls. I'd say this is going to sound a bit weird. Whilst my favourite song of the year is from Sky Blue, that isn't one of my favourite albums.
Fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. Album-wise, it's sort of like Redeemer of Souls, Dark Matters, another Devin Townsend one, Casualties of Cool.
Good feeling that was this year.
Yeah. The live show for that was awesome.
Nice.
They really picked the venue quite perfectly because we were in an old chapel, and just the atmosphere that you get from an old chapel really worked to emphasise how the songs in the album work.
It must have been a very
Jesus.
viable. We'll go back to singing songs in choir again, aren't we?
Well, okay, the whole thing is, basically, Guy starts hearing this music out in space and gets lured to this planet. The planet actually feeds on his feelings of fear and loneliness. And he's completely isolated, and he finds this old gramophone and then an old radio. The sorts that sort of like, those sort of archway shaped ones.
Oh yeah. That's
And he depends on that as a source of solace and comfort. And through that he finds a way to release the voice that's trapped within the planet. It's a very concept album's very weird, but it really worked effectively with the feel of an old chapel. It helped bring to the forefront the feelings of a need for comfort and also the feelings of isolation.
I can imagine that working, yeah. The concept seems to fit with the kind of venue you've got there, so it was like a pretty amazing show, really.
It really was. Between Redeemer of Souls, the two Devin albums mentioned, and Savages, which is the new Theory of a Dead Man album.
Fair enough.
That one comes to the forefront mainly because it's what got me into Theory of a Dead Man.
Yeah, as a favourite song of the year, it's between two, really.
Mm-hmm.
Probably between either The Silence Is Mine from Drinking God 3 soundtrack, final track. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. And In Every Nothing by Calafina, which was the A-side was terrible. That B-side is fantastic. I love it.
Of course. Richard?
Best song. Oh man. Desperately looking through iTunes. Shit. Well, what? I don't really know what else to say other than this is mostly right. Dragon Guard 3 soundtrack, The Silence Is Mine, is pretty freaking amazing. Also, I was saying about albums, to be honest, I think just Yume Hajime Ring Ring or whatever it is, I can't even pronounce it.
From Pika Pika Fantasy. Oh, wait,
yeah,
sorry.
from Pika Pika Fantasy, yeah. That's what I mean.
Ring Ring, yeah. Song.
Excuse my
really
colleagues whilst they talk in moon speak.
It isn't even moon speak. I can't even do that right. But yeah, I don't know. It had a completely different tone to pretty much everything else she's sung, and I don't know. I feel like it works for it. It's kind of like there's a song about. I mean, I say this not understanding any of the lyrics, and not that it matters anyway, seeing as they're probably mostly gibberish. But it feels like a song about goodbyes and stuff, and it's weirdly. I don't know. It feels kind of simultaneously upbeat and melancholy, and that's why I like it. It's because usually her stuff is so darn sugary happy that this was kind of a welcome change in a way. You know, it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just like sad things, but I don't know. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
A lot of really good songs are really sad, but yeah, the song pretty much is about growing up. Really, what I've heard about it.
Mm-hmm. For me, I am going to have to say favourite songs instead of just the one.
Yeah.
Universal Flame, which is from Sky Blue, which it's a very hopeful song, and it's kind of effectively a microcosm for how you can do upbeat metal. You know, it's one of those, anyone who thinks that metal is just angry and aggressive, listen to Universal Flame and you'll hear a song basically saying that it's kind of a reaching for your dreams type song, essentially, and also a bit of a love song.
Just combining things together and legit.
Also, The Only Thing I Know for Real.
Metal Gear Rising.
Because...
Oh yeah, Metal Gear Rising soundtrack.
Because whenever I listen to that, I do actually genuinely get a badass feeling.
This is why I bought it, you see.
Get a badass feeling, or do you just want to slather yourself in Crisco and wait for it to jump you?
What?
Make love to me, Metal Gear Revenge soundtrack, I love you.
What? That went a bit peculiar.
It's really good though.
It is really damn good.
Yeah.
Well, technically it was last year, but PC releases this year, so...
But
I'm pretty sure the album itself wasn't released until this year.
No, it was last year. I checked it earlier. It was the start of last year at that.
Are you
It came out on
sure?
PC this year.
never mind. It's still super duper great, and it still deserves mentioning even now.
It transcends time itself.
There's the title track from Savages, which again, that's what got me into Theory of a Dead Man, because Alice Cooper. He does featuring bits on that, and it's sort of like, Alice Cooper likes this. Although Alice Cooper also did a duet with Kesha, so
Next up, Alice Cooper collaborates with Nickelback to do a cover of Hello Kitty.
Oh, God!
It would still probably turn out better, but everyone would still want to just die inside.
There's Bruce Campbell, Psycho Stick song.
Oh yeah. That is a pretty good track.
I mean, it's just... Trust Psycho Stick to come out with a song that's just about Bruce Campbell.
Everyone loves Bruce Campbell. Want to become him and, form his chin.
That chin.
I need the measurements for your chin. Gonna get me a jawbone implant and I'm gonna be your twin. I got it right this time!
That is pretty great.
I played Not Safe for Work earlier to someone and they were just dying of laughter.
Fuck, 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 fuck.
Just the idea of having a 3.5-minute song with no lyrics apart from the word fuck on pretty much the entire
thing. They're channeling Johannes Krause in a second.
I swear that must have been influence.
I mean, Psychostick it would not surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, those are kind of my favourites from this year.
Good stuff. There's been quite a lot of good music this year. So.
Yeah, it's just when it's been bad, it has really been quite horrifying.
Well, yeah, something you can't really avoid though. There's always something. Something pretty much every year these days, which is absolutely awful.
Yeah, it's just how prevalent it's been.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's probably a lot of things out there which are far worse even. They just never see the light of day, and thank God for that.
Yeah.
Isn't music kind of like every other form of entertainment, where for every good thing, there will be a gigantic pile of awfulness?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So it can't be helped. It's going to be like this every year for the rest of your life, and you'll have to live with it.
As long as we don't end up with the Left Behind strategy game equivalent of a song, we're fine.
That's a pretty obscure thing to bring up. But yeah, as long as you don't wind up sort of a year later with a handlebar moustache and skinny jeans and an old-fashioned camera strung around your neck, you will probably be okay.
If not, God help you. Yes, there is no God.
I'm sorry, God is far too extreme for me. You know how many people believe in God across the globe? It's far too mainstream for me.
But anyway, we've pretty much wasted enough of people's time with this. Oh God, we've been going on for 2 hours.
I would say best music event you've been to this year, but Rich has been to pretty much nothing. So.
Of course I haven't.
Well, the first proper live thing you went to was this year.
I did want to go see Andrew WK was up in Leeds, and I wanted to go to that. But the problem was the week that was happening, I was going down to see my dad, who was over in the country for the first time in like a year.
Yeah.
Or 2 years. So, yeah, that kind of had to take priority. Next time he comes, though, I'll go there and see it.
Yeah, and for me, I've only really there's the 2 karaoke nights that I've been to. Alternative karaoke, by the way, not normal karaoke. That sounded horribly hipster, I apologise.
It can't be helped. As soon as anyone tries to clarify that they aren't mainstream, you wind up sounding like a hipster regardless of whether you are or not.
Yeah. But we're sort of reverse hipsters because we try to unveil the obscuring mists and teach people about stuff.
That sounds perhaps even worse, but what the hell, I'll run with it.
But, well...
Let me enlighten you as to my amazing taste. I say as I am a complete pleb.
But yeah, aside from that, there's only been 2 gigs I've been to, which were DELUXE and Devin Townsend.
And Geekery as well.
Oh, and Chiari. Oh God, how could I forget that?
You and your Devin Townsend.
Ed went to Devin Townsend. Yeah, that's no surprise. I never would have guessed.
Hey guys, I'm a massive Devin Townsend fan. Could you ever have guessed over the past 5 weeks?
To be fair, I can't really say much after going to France just to see kind of enough.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gone with you to see White Hockey Band. That would have been amazing.
White Hockey Band were amazing, and you weren't there.
I know, and I bet they're not going to be there.
Guess what?
Well, I will say this much. My brother can do one better. He went to Switzerland to see Devin Townsend.
Impressive. Yeah, I went with my dad to New York to see The Cure.
Yeah. So, one way or another, we are massive fanboys.
Except for me, because I'm a failure, yes.
Yeah. Although,
you can't beat down on me if I'm beating myself. My own fists get in the way.
Although, to be fair, it's sort of like, on the one hand, Devin Townsend I've seen about 8 or 9 times. Actually, it could quite easily have been that many. God damn. DELUXE, I'm friends with 2 of the members on Facebook.
That's not some condescending squeal.
They had...
That's a squeal, and it wasn't intended to be condescending. That was genuine admiration, I guess. But
Well,
it didn't come across that way.
by the way, this isn't me just being a creepy stalkery fan. I have actually talked to them and made a rapport, and I do actually interact with them. So...
That's I had the kind of problem with the fact that, you know, if I was going to do that with Galafina, I have no idea what's going on.
Exactly. Whereas...
I can't speak Japanese.
Whereas at least D-Corrupts are bilingual, so... Probably more than that, but I don't know.
Probably.
You should just do the henshin dance from Dragon Ball Z while singing turning Japanese.
God!
And then they'll surely like you. And understand you perfectly.
Oh, God!
I said it, so it must be true.
It wasn't done for you.
And on that bombshell... Oh.
Where's his Top Gear?
Fuck you, Jeremy Clarkson. Just getting that out there now.
Next time in a reasonably priced album.
Oh, God. Anyway, yes.
Some might say he has pleb music taste, but actually, he's just rich.
Oh, God, what have I started? Anyway, with that said, I mean, none of us have really been to that many gigs this year, have we?
No, not really. I mean, I got tickets to Idlewick next year, which should be good. That's the only one I've got at the moment.
I haven't even been to many gigs, full stop.
Yeah, you need to go to more. I'm going to bring you to every gig I go to, I swear.
Anyway.
Okay, sure, whatever.
And I just need to get a load of money and deposit it on every band's face so I can see them all live.
I don't know if I'll be able to perform with your money on their face.
Figuratively speaking, dear, figuratively speaking.
How many figures are we talking? Because otherwise it might get pretty even harder for them to sing.
10 tons of gold.
Well, it could be 10,000 fish and a bear.
This is true.
Okay then.
And with that bizarreness filtering into your cerebellums, I feel it is time that we say good night. Or good afternoon, or good morning if you're in Australia and you're 13 hours ahead of us. I think it's something like that. No, they're 8. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how time differences work.
It's probably mid-afternoon for them, isn't it?
Yeah, but whichever way you like to think of it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'll catch you later as soon as I can get round to doing another episode. No idea what I'll be reviewing next, but hopefully something in the new year.
Hooray.
It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me, or him, depending on if you really want to chew on a Two Ronnie's reference.
I was expecting that for the first episode.
We'll say 4 candles, there's only 3 of us.
Anyway, gute Nacht.